Nice.
Yeah.
Just reading that Colorado collected $2 million in recreational marijuana taxes in January.
Oh, yeah? Is it reasonable?
The number should be higher, right?
Taxes? Let me think. Well, it was since the first of the year, right?
Well, for the month of January, they made
just
$2 million
month?
in taxes.
It's pretty good.
It's all right. It's not a great business.
No.
$24 million for the year for the state.
How many people live in Colorado, though?
3.
Oh, I would have thought more.
What?
I thought that number would be higher.
Any negatives about the weed thing? I heard a lot of dogs are being admitted to the veterinarian because they're ingesting pot.
Why?
At an alarming rate.
People are just
leaving their weed laying around.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of trying to say.
And the little puppies come up and eat it. They eat that shit. Put mustard on it, fucking eat it.
Spoon Man.
It's like 90s fucking day, huh?
We should talk about 90s music. I don't think we've ever talked about it.
No, we've never done a break on that.
No, we have.
Oh, right.
Steve Irwin's Cameraman.
Hi.
Finally talking. How many years has it been for the Steve Irwin thing?
Stingray.
How many years for Steve Irwin? At least
2008?
I was going to say 5.
8 years, I think. Right? Something like that?
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think so.
How many years?
Whoa.
8 years, 2006.
Nice.
Steve Irwin's been gone 8 years?
Hey, jeez.
Well, the cameraman's finally speaking.
How's that funny looking daughter of his? Bindi.
Oh, she's
she
all
looks
right.
like little Steve Irwin, though. She looks too much like little
She's
Steve
grown up
Irwin.
to be aight.
Is she?
Yeah, she's aight.
Is she chubby still?
No, she's
kind
kind
of
of
fat. Let me see. All right.
She's cute.
Man. All right. Oh, yeah. She got that Steve Irwin face.
She's all right.
It's pretty funny.
She's aight.
She's pretty.
Yeah, she's not bad.
How old is she now?
She's 45. It's amazing. Wasn't she the one he was holding with the alligator or the crocodile?
Yes.
Whatever the fuck it was?
Yes.
And there was a bunch of controversy.
Right. Like he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. In the end, he didn't know what he was doing.
He fucking didn't know what he was doing.
No, I think it was just one of those horrible, sucks to be you.
It certainly is.
Because I'm sure he knew what he was doing.
If you're Steve Irwin and you get killed by a stingray, that's like being up to plate in the World Series and striking out on a fucking wiffle ball.
Yeah.
You can't get killed.
Terrible example that was.
You can't get killed by something you're allowed to pet.
Right. Yeah, at aquariums, you just fucking put your hand in there.
You go to the Cayman Islands, they have, I forgot what it's called, Stingray Bay or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
And you're in the water with them in about 3 feet of water.
Not anymore.
Find that, Cayman Islands. We did it.
It's crazy.
It's really creepy because they give you food and stuff, so they swarm you, and you get to pet a whole bunch of stingrays while you're in the water with them.
Do you see that fucking spike on their tail?
You see it all, look.
Yeah.
There you go.
They don't bite
Stingray.
you?
Oh, yeah, Stingray City it's called, of course. Yes,
Stingray
Stingray City. Yeah. That's a guy that you could also go scuba diving with him, but there's a section where you're pretty much, I'm trying to remember, maybe the water's up to your waist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they come, they're all over the place.
Fuck that.
It was fun.
I don't like being underwater with animals.
I bet you they're still allowing that down there in the Cayman Islands.
No, they don't care about safety at any of those places.
Nope. So here's the cameraman talking about his death.
We'd been filming, we stood up, we said, what shots do we want to get? We always tried to put the animal between Steve and I underwater, so the animal was in the foreground.
Foreground?
And we stood up and said, one last shot, you swim up from behind the animal,
last shot.
and I'll try and get a shot of it swimming away. And so that's what we did.
So that's Steve swimming up and you're getting the shot. And what happened?
Well, I had the camera on, I thought this is going to be a great shot, it's going to be in the doco for sure, fantastic. And
so where's this footage?
Exactly. Why won't they show it?
Oh. Well, it's out of courtesy to the family, I think.
Why not? He's getting tagged by a sting. Who wouldn't want to see that?
Boy.
Well, a lot of people want to see it, but I
bet Bindi doesn't want to see it.
Right. I sort of understand why they're holding it back. Eventually it'll make it out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
all of a sudden it propped on its front and started stabbing wildly with its tail.
Jesus.
Hundreds of strikes in a few seconds.
Hundreds.
They're incredibly powerful animals, and they've been on the planet for 60 million years. So they've survived because they're survivors. It probably thought that Steve's shadow was a tiger shark, which feeds on them very regularly.
Oh.
And so it started to attack him. I panned with the camera as the stingray swam away. I didn't even know it had caused any damage. It wasn't until I panned the camera back that Steve was standing in a huge pool of blood that I realised something had gone wrong.
Wow. If you're a tiger shark, is stingray good eats?
Oh, what?
Yeah, they're like fucking ocean pancakes.
Yeah. Ocean pancakes. Delicious.
Would you gnaw away at a stingray? That would be horrendous. Oh, God.
Some bathers have been injured. Those beaches will be open. It's the 4th of July. His anchor jacket.
The best.
That thing.
Let's say hi to Jeremy in Dallas.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy birthday, Jimmy.
There.
Hey, so
Yeah?
So I've been to Stingray City down there in the Caymans, and they told us that the stingrays that got Steve Irwin are like a lot more aggressive. So they probably just told us that so that we felt.
Of course they did.
But
Yeah.
you know.
What are they going to say? This could happen to you?
I would assume it's the same stingrays.
Sir?
Oh, my God, where are you? Oh, my God. Sir?
What happens to people?
I don't know.
We're
They
having
just-
a conversation. Imagine you're on the street and you're having a conversation and you say something and the guy just turns around and walks away. That's what just happened. What?
He just walked away.
Where's your? This is like real life.
Yeah.
You call the show. Now we're going to try to have a little conversation.
Little discussion. He just walked away from our
He
discussion.
just hangs up.
He got bored of us.
I value my life a lot more than $3,000, Chief.
Cameraman attempts to save Steve as he's in a pool of blood after being
boy.
stung. Or is it a sting?
Pool of blood. How do you clean those?
Struck. He was struck over 100 times.
100 times.
Wow, and that's short stingray for a
That thing must have just
motherfucker.
went.
They're like Ali speed.
Yeah.
In seconds, 100 times.
Was Steve able to swim at that point? Or did
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
he was
to
doing a
help?
backstroke.
It was seconds, but it felt like forever because time really did slow down for me there.
I bet it didn't.
And again, contrary to what I read in the papers and everything I heard at the time, which was just incorrect, the stingray barb was a blade about a foot extending out of the middle part of its tail. So it's not at the tip of the tail, it's about in the middle. It's a bit like a fingernail. And the other half is embedded in the tail of the stingray. It didn't come out. Steve didn't pull it out. It's a jagged, sharp barb. And it went through his chest like a hot knife through butter. He thought it had punctured his lung. And he stood up out of the water and screamed, "It's punctured me lung." Within a few seconds, the inflatable that had been motoring about 30 metres away was there. So we threw him into the boat and assessed the situation for about 5 seconds. He had about a 2-inch wide injury over his heart with blood and fluid coming out of it.
Oh, boy.
And we thought we've got to get him back to the boat as fast as we can.
Wow.
And if this cameraman heard all these false facts, why wouldn't he have come out and said that wasn't true?
Wow.
Damn.
Maybe he's been tormented. And he's finally.
Yeah, maybe he's fucking
he's
living with his nightmares.
He's finally out of shock.
Waking up with night terrors. Screaming was a little more important.
Right.
Trying to get 1 fucking minute sleep at night.
Right. It took him 8
That
years.
horrid image in his head. Holy shit.
He's finally over the 8 years of nightmares.
Damn.
Waking up in a cold sweat thinking it's Steve Irwin's blood.
Yeah, yeah. Oof.
Steve's last words.
Oh, boy.
As we're motoring back, I'm screaming at one of the other crew in the boat to put their hand over the wound. And we're saying to him things like, "Think of your kid, Steve, hang on, hang on, hang on." And he just sort of calmly looked up at me and said, "I'm dying." And that was the last thing he said.
Oh, boy.
What a thing to hear from one of your closest mates.
Mates.
What was going through your mind when he was looking up at you saying that?
Breakfast.
She wants more
Starving.
tears? What could he be thinking?
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Stop.
dying.
Through your tears.
He just gave you some amazing TV.
Yeah. Don't worry
about it.
All right.
I'm on this. Don't worry about it, kid.
About it.
You got the moment.
You got it.
And now you push it.
Right.
Now you're pushing because now you need the tears.
I don't know why this cameraman is so caught up with Steve Irwin. I mean, it's been a long time.
Holy shit.
It's been 8 years.
I mean,
of him waking up in the middle of the night screaming.
I think it's just time.
Oh, Oh, Travis.
You know, that's the problem when you have like multiple things to be doing.
Oh, that sounds like an E-Rock excuse.
No, it's not an excuse. I'm trying to get the video so that I can post it on Twitter.
Were you helping
Facebook.
someone on the phones?
No, I'm not, actually.
That's usually what E-Rock says he was doing.
No. I'm sorry, Jim. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. I was just talking about Steve Irwin, and I'm like, the camera.
Pitching a fit. Get over it. Hate pitching a fit.
Mind when he was looking up at you saying that.
Jim?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think I realised how serious it was. I didn't know that it had pierced his heart. I thought maybe it's just pierced his lung and we've got a good chance of saving him.
Saving him?
He probably lapsed into unconsciousness, even though his eyes were open, somewhere in those 30 seconds, getting him back to Croc 1, the mothership. And we literally put him on the duck board and I started CPR on him straight away.
But there was no hope, was there?
There's always hope. I mean, we hoped for a miracle. So I literally did CPR on him for over an hour before we got him to Low Isles, where the helicopter arrived and the medics came. But then they pronounced him dead within 10 seconds of looking at him.
Jeez.
Did he say anything else to you?
No.
Can you pause real quick?
His final words.
He just said to you, those are the last words he ever said.
Yeah.
So
Stop.
what do you think? Oh, yeah, he did. He said a couple other things I forgot about when I just said those were his last words.
You got it. You got an amazing moment. That's
She's trying to fucking squeeze
amazing
more
TV.
out of it.
He's doing CPR, just pushing more blood out of his body.
I know. It's, oh boy.
That is horrible.
CPR. Got him on the duck board.
He just knew, though.
Crook 1. Yeah.
Jeez. I thought it was one strike.
Hundreds.
That hit him in the heart or whatever.
I wonder how many times it hit his heart. If it like chewed his heart up, or if it was just one shot through.
Oh, God.
But it was able to, like, cut through his chest like butter. What kind of force is that? That'll do that.
Yeah.
He said it's like razor sharp or whatever,
Like
but
butter
still.
on a garlic mashed potatoes here at the end pick.
Man.
Yeah.
So.
Bon voyage. Arrivederci. Alvida Zane.
Let me say hi to Keith in Illinois. Keith.
Yeah, I'd actually read a couple of blog sites years ago while I was looking for the video.
Flies.
And I'd heard that it got destroyed. The video actually got destroyed. I don't know how true that is or not. But,
I am.
But do you guys find it ironic that the guy got killed by a stingray of all the fucking things that guy has fucked with?
No one ever brought that up.
Yeah,
the past fucking.
I didn't mention that 10 minutes ago in a bombed
years.
joke.
Right.
Oh, well, you know.
Jeez.
Man, I can't hear what you guys are doing on this phone.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Oh.
All right, now, let's go to Mississippi. Might have better luck in Mississippi. Brad.
Yeah, I've been to Stingray City several years ago, and they're more like pets there. There was one boat out in the middle of the bay, and you're on a sandbar in the middle of the bay, anywhere from, say, waist deep to knee deep. And the boat that was already there was feeding them. And when
Did I say all this?
I could have
did it
sworn you
myself.
said all this.
Do what?
You're in water up to your waist, and you're feeding the stingrays. Stingray City. I said all this. Cayman Islands.
Well, just give me one moment.
Fair enough. Fair enough, Brad.
Give me one moment.
All right.
He's being bossy.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But he's a guy, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Pass the sugar. We'll make believe we're in Starbucks as we're having a little chit chat
conversation.
about Steve Irwin.
Don't walk away.
Don't walk away.
Exactly.
We could work this out. Go ahead, Brad.
Well, the stingrays are almost tame because they come from one boat when they hear your boat pulling up, and they come to your boat.
They know where the food is, yeah.
Well, someone else is saying that they were tame, but let me tell you something. They're still wild animals.
Yeah. Exactly.
They've been trained that there's going to be a lot of food in that area, of course, so maybe that helps a bit. But in the end, their little prehistoric brains are still, they're dinosaurs, basically.
You fuck with them, they're going to try to sting you.
Right.
With that
they
dumb
did
thing.
tell us, people that had on sandals or flip-flops or whatever told us to go barefooted and shuffle your feet in the sand so that you didn't step on top of them and piss them off.
Yeah, I hate when they give you those instructions because then you're in the water thinking, I'm going to blow it.
I know.
I'm not going to shuffle good enough or something.
I'm going to get stung in the foot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I bet Steve Irwin wished somebody would have given him instructions.
Aw,
Sir, why do you have to be so mean?
that's very mean.
Really?
We're trying to raise the
early in the
level
morning.
here.
All right, this guy says he knows Steve Irwin's last word.
Uh-huh.
Joe in Yonkers.
Hey, boys. Good
Hey.
morning.
Yes.
Yeah, his last breath, he whimpered out, Slavo!
Oh, did he yell Slavo?
That would be just...
That's weird.
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
It's a very odd thing to yell.
Yeah.
I know about the stingray. See, Andy in Florida. Andy.
Hey, yeah, I don't know about Stingray City and what they do there. It sounds like a wild place, but in the touch-a-tanks where they have kids and everything in aquariums, places like that, they cut the barb off. So the tail, the big tail hanging off the back, is not the part that stings.
Right. We learned that. It's like halfway up the tail, this
Yeah.
barb comes out, and it's sharp, and it'll cut you. It'll go through you like butter.
I didn't know
But in all of these touch-a-tanks that
I
they
didn't
let,
either.
3-year-old kids in, they cut that
Through
shit
you
right
like
off.
butter?
Right. Like butter.
Nobody's getting hurt in those.
Yeah, but the problem is Stingray City, which I've been to in the Cayman Islands.
Great song by Guns N' Roses.
It's in the wide open.
Yeah.
They're not fenced in.
No.
So they absolutely have their barbs intact.
Yeah.
So why the hell aren't they just chopping through tours like it's nothing?
Wait, nobody liked my Guns N' Roses joke. Was that really a bad one?
Did you have to reiterate that you said it? It's not good. Although I did run it through my head.
Yeah.
Take me down to Stingray City.
Things right around and they'll sting you.
Jimmy, we'll see you in Florida in 2 months.
In Tampa, thank you, sir. I'll see you there.
Oh.
We fed stingrays and fed... Dennis in Indiana. Dennis.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, yeah, in November we went to Antigua, and again, like that guy just said, there's a sandbar out there. And what happens is the old-time fishermen used to clean their fish on the sandbar in the water, and all the stingrays came up.
Oh.
And then they ended up fencing them in, and someone complained, and they decided not to fence them in anymore. And because the tour boats were still going there, the stingrays just went there. And I asked the guy before we went in because we could swim with them.
The greatest story I ever heard.
So I was just thinking, this is up there in the top 4 worst stories I've ever heard.
Well,
this story
I probably have the top 3
is
top of it.
so dull.
He's gonna explain the stingrays.
You are a dullard.
It's just a terrible story.
Oh.
I'm sorry, sir.
I lost interest so quickly.
Completely.
It's one of those stories where you nod a lot and your eyes start darting around a bit.
Just looking for anything else of interest.
Giving the storyteller a hint.
A little hint to wrap it up.
Time to wrap it up.
Time to wrap.
Wrap it
I'll
up.
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
We
Go ahead,
held
sir.
them and we fed them and stuff like that. So, all right. I guess.
But they had the barbs or not? Barbs or no barbs?
They said they took the barbs off. Even though.
But if they're not fenced in anymore, they're not taking the barbs out.
Exactly. Why would they take the barbs out if the stingrays want to say funny things to each other?
Oh God! You talk about me being bad.
All right, let me.
Guy with the hard story didn't even like that.
Well, Joe's going to add something different.
Oh, cool. Hey,
Joe. Joe in Chicago. Joe, thank you for calling the Opie and Anthony show. Go ahead.
I don't know if I want to say anything. You guys are just talking shit.
No, not at all.
ahead,
We
Joe.
are shit. We're just being
today.
silly.
Yes.
Trying to get some jokes out there. Go ahead.
I know. Well, just so you know, I've been in the Cayman. They tell you that the shit's not fenced in, but like quarter-mile out, it's fenced in. All those they're supposed to be there. They are debarbed. And the other thing I wanted to say was they did a documentary with what's his nuts wife, and they showed.
He's losing confidence in his story. You hear him?
Yeah,
his voice is tailing off. He's getting lower. He completely lost confidence
As
in
he
his
should have.
story. Yes.
We were all hoping that Israeli Mossad agents had planted a little thing in your phone that would explode.
So anyway, so they showed Terry the video, and then they showed her throwing away, destroying the only copy of it. That's why we'll never see it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure it is, but that's what it was.
I once again, I can't see how they fenced in the stingrays in Stingray City. I just don't see it. Because there's also a drop off where it goes into the ocean.
Oh.
It's a sandbar.
Yeah.
How they? No.
It's very deep in the ocean. Hard to fence off the ocean.
And there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
How are they sure they got every single one?
Right.
They move around all willy-nilly, so if you keep your eyes on them like this, like swarming bees, going, okay, I think we got all the swarming bees stingers out.
It's like 3-card money.
Right.
You can't keep your eye on it.
This guy knows how what stingray tastes like. Don?
Don on the phone?
Hey.
Yeah,
Not a good start.
Don, you're off to a rough start, Don.
Yeah, start over. Take a deep breath.
You don't want to start a story with
I lost my train of thought.
all right, come on. We could do this. We could do this.
I grew up in Florida, and the stingray thing with the shuffle on your feet shit is because if you don't, you'll get nailed on it, just like the guy would say before, that you'll step on them, they freak out, and they'll jab you, and it hurts like shit. It's happened to me. The second thing is that stingrays taste just like scallops. You go to some of your cheesier East Coast seafood displays, and you're not eating scallops, you're eating stingray.
Really? Oh, they make them look like scallops with that cookie cutter thing.
Yeah,
a cookie cutter.
They take like a punch and they bend it a little bit because scallops, of course, aren't exactly round.
Right.
They take a punch and they kind of bend it a little awkward, and I'll just punch the crap out of them, and then they fucking serve it to you, and here you go.
Cursing does not make the story more interesting, sir.
No,
but I like the fact that that's where fake scallops come from.
Fake scallops.
You finding that fucking Malaysian airline plane couldn't have made that story more interesting. If you said I got stung by a stingray as I stepped on the plane wreckage, I still would have lost interest.
Yeah, that happened to me a long time ago when I was a kid.
I know, it's a good story. I like it.
Thank God you made it through.
Let's go to Larry King. Larry!
Yes, question, boys, for the cameraman. What happened to the grocery?
What happened to Steve Irwin's groceries?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. That's not a good Larry King. John in Providence, though, has something. John.
Hi, yeah. I'd like to say that I think the stingray that killed Steve Irwin was a real sea monster.
Sea Munster.
Who's that from?
It's the cheese thing. It's a callback. I like it.
Wow. I
like the callback.
Old callback.
When everyone came up with the same joke over and over again.
Right.
The Munster guy.
The Munster.
Very good, John. He just reworked it for this one. I like it. Another guy knows what stingray tastes like.
Oh, boy.
Let me see what this is.
I bet it's scallops.
Les in Alabama. Les.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah.
First name is I Could Care.
All right, Les, go ahead.
Not his first name. His last name is interesting than the last caller. Go ahead, Les. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Les.
Stingray tastes just like chicken.
Just like chicken. Everything else tastes.
That will be it for the phones today. Thank you, Les in Alabama.
Good run with the phones today.
Even grading on the Alabama curve, that was awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew.